Veterinary surgeon or start to come quick. Draw the syringe and give it a flick. Bring your little black bag with the medicines in. Bring the trank and the crank and the penicillin.
All right, Mike, you got to say it.
Hey, everybody, podcast! Hey, we want to welcome you all here to Beasley Equine Clinic. We got John back here behind the board, making us sound great, and Dr. Travis. Welcome.
Thanks for coming, Mike.
Hey, I've been looking forward to this.
Me too. What have you been up to?
Oh, my gosh. I mean, we got a couple horses consigned up at Iron Saddle for their first sale. A couple big ewes and geldings. Getting some 2-year-olds started, and we're riding a lot of miles. We're getting a lot of miles put on them.
How many horses you guys got right now?
Right now, I believe we've got 8, 9. And then we've got one that we're riding for a mare we're helping ride for a very dear friend.
Oh, yeah. She was here this morning.
Stephanie?
Yep.
Smurf Pants?
Yeah.
That's
I'll
my
remember
girl.
that one, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Old Smurf Pants. She is the dearest of friends to us.
Yeah, she's awesome. Who are the two you're taking to? Is Iron Saddle?
Taking up the Iron Saddle. Taking a big blue horse, 5-year-old blue roan, on a 16 hands, quarter gelding, and then taking a bay roan. He's 9, named Bernie. It's had some sorting training and sorting practice.
I didn't even know they had sales up there.
First one.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, and it'll be a catalog select consignment only.
When is that?
June 9th, ain't it? June 7th. June 7th. And it'll be up there at Salem, right off of Interstate 57.
Yeah, I pass by it all the time, but I've never.
Got
They said there's a bar and a grill and everything there,
bar,
right?
grill, tack store, trailer sales, farm equipment dealership. They've got cattle, they've got some ropings. I mean, can't say enough. And they put on a couple whippoorwill rodeos every year. Just a top-notch, top-shelf facility.
Awesome. How'd you find out about that sale?
Well, we were actually approached. We got a good friend and trainer, coach starter, Lewis Weaver, contacted Brenda.
Oh.
And wanted to consign our horses.
Nice.
So
That'll be fun. June 7th?
7th? Yep.
It'll be hot by then.
Oh, yeah.
What else is going on?
Not much. As a lot of people know, I'm still treating for some prostate cancer. 10 days, 10 more treatments, I get to ring that bell.
Nice.
Me and old Po Campo. So get ready for the podcast from SIH.
There you go.
Yeah,
I remember when you told us we were castrating at your house, right?
Uh-huh.
And only Mike would tell us that with a smile on his face. Your attitude through all of this is...
Hey, you won't believe this, but everybody knows me over there at Carterville now.
Shocking.
I tell you what. Well, you got to, because everything in life is 90% attitude.
It's true.
I bumbled through life not being the smartest man. But enthusiasm and attitude is just, I think you need to wake up with it and just throw on your saddle and just ride her to the ground.
Did you ever read that old book? I forgot who wrote it, but As a Man Thinketh?
No.
And it's all about just what you think and how important that is. It's real short.
I'll be
It
darned.
probably takes, I'll get you a copy. It's like an hour. I've read it like 3 or 4 times. A guy should read it like every Sunday night.
Well, and that's what, going through this journey with me. And I've had some ups and downs and surgeries and everything. And I tell you what, and luckily, and it's out of nowhere. You get somebody just sticks a hand out of the dark, and it's like, man, that come at the right time. You know it? Just lifts you up. And sometimes it's a dumb meme on Facebook. Or like me, I love a good joke.
Yeah. My phone is just full of memes.
Oh, yeah. And that's knowledge.
Yeah. That's if somebody says, "Did you hear about this?" I'm like, "No, I haven't seen a meme about it yet." Without the news, we watch the news like once a week.
Well, in the news anymore, I'll be honest, I'm afraid of with AI and different opinions. It's hard to find that truth.
Yeah, and it's not so much the news; it's their
It's their
opinion.
take and their entertainment of it. And I like to say, I hope the world goes on forever and we have fun and things don't change that much.
Right, and it's as far left as right.
Yes.
I mean, they're both guilty of it. There's no somebody that's just going to read the news. They got to put their twist on it. It seems like.
Exactly.
And we all know how most of the news people feel about our current administration, which we don't have to talk about, but it'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't even understand tariffs enough to talk about them.
Oh, Lord, I don't. Like to say, I don't know much about any of that at all.
Yep.
All I know is just, well, I tell you what I do know. I stopped and got me a bone-in ham, stuck it on the smoker for about 8 hours. I'm telling you, ham redone, ham twice smoked, unbelievable.
Did you ever go to Johnson's Barbecue in Harrisburg?
Yes.
That's ham.
Yeah.
He doesn't do pork butts. It's all ham.
It's all ham, and it's absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah, that place is awesome. That was his grandpa was the one that started that. You know where the concrete place is?
Yeah.
On the highway, they had a little restaurant beside it.
No kidding.
Yeah, Dad used to go there as a kid.
That is awesome.
So several generations there. What when you go get your treatments, what's it like in there? Is everybody depressed or is everybody happy like you?
They used to be. You won't believe this, that HIPAA laws, I can't tell.
Right, yeah.
But and I mean, it's kind of like the first couple of days, I'm walking through there. There's a lady receptionist there, and you got receptionists at each function, like the lab, like the infusion, like the radiation. I just think you're supposed to speak to everybody, and now I've got them when the door cracks, they're hollering at me, which is what I need. You know what I mean?
Right.
And even like I was 8:45. Now I'm 8:15. So it takes about 15 minutes for each of our treatments. So you kind of get to know the guy or two in front of you and a guy or two after you. There's a man, Chris, from over there, a retired professional. Lives over there by Little Grassy, and he's kept me up on draining the lake and the lake repairs. I've had the best time. One of my treatment technicians, he turkey hunts. And I mean, it seems like we can't get enough talking in quick enough in our 15 minutes.
That's good. And goes by fast then.
It does. And they've got music in there, so they kind of know what I like now.
Right. So you're a glass half full.
I am a glass half full.
And we can fill it up to the top.
Oh my gosh. Like I'd say. And I'd like to think everyone's perking up. And there again, if anybody wants to ask questions, especially about like what little I know about men's health, it's something we shouldn't ignore.
Right.
And I think we do get kind of pushed back or we ourselves push it to the back. Mine was a pretty fast and abrupt journey from, hey, you got an elevated PSA, which is was my first indication. To, hey, you've got nodules, you've got exam, which you should not be embarrassed about. To, hey, let's have a biopsy. Hey, you've got this irregular cells and different things. And it is a mind-boggling journey. But I'm happy along the way, people just kind of guided me.
Yeah.
And I have 100% trust in my care team. And like I say, there again, with all I'm doing now, at the end of these treatments, we'll give it a little break. We'll come back through and we'll retest, we'll rescan in August and see where we go from there.
What are the scans? MRI or CT or?
CT with MRI with contrast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then see, the other terrible thing was yes and no. I was blessed with a really high testosterone, and I've maintained it even to a 60-year-old. Those testosterones and them hormones fuel these reproductive and these urinary cancers in us men. So one of the first things they did was I went through hormone suppression. That is the awfulest thing in the world. Because, I mean, everyone wondered what my fountain of youth was.
To suppress the testosterone mainly?
Yeah, because I still had a PSA reading after my radical surgery.
Oh, okay.
So see, in a perfect world, once they removed the prostate and all the associated tissues and organs, you really can't have a PSA anymore unless you've still got some malignancy.
Okay. Does he need to get closer to the mic?
Yeah.
We can move that if you want.
Nope, that's good.
Okay.
And so that was our first clue after the surgery that, hey, we're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
But like I say, my team, and I've got the biggest hopes that this is it. I'm done. I'm healed. I'll be back whipping and spurring. And I haven't ever quit riding. The one thing I couldn't do, I did a little farrier work. I did a little horseshoeing. I'm not that farrier. I was a horseshoer, and I've had to give it up.
Completely.
Just family and a few friends.
Yep.
It seems like a couple hours, and with the lack of testosterone and lack of hormones, my muscles just exhaust.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They run out of oxygen. They run out of fuel. And that's a feeling I've never had in my life. I just feel heavy.
Yeah.
I drag my feet, and it's like, I've never felt this way in my life.
So I wonder about all those people with the testosterone replacement therapy, the TRT.
Mm-hmm.
Does that put them more at risk? Did they?
Well, I can't help but think it would. I mean, they wanted to suppress mine, but yes, I can't imagine that I can't say, but yes.
Yeah, because those clinics are popping up
everywhere.
In fact, I went to the one in Marion when they opened because
Mm-hmm.
I needed full blood work, and they advertised you get your full blood work plus all your hormones, and it was like $100.
Oh, that's
versus
great.
like $400 or $500 through the people. All my levels were fine, but
yes,
I bet if I would have went back and been like, well, they probably would have gave it to me anyways.
yes, and it's like me. Mine's always been high enough. Even to 2 years ago, I drove straight home after a cruise from Miami home and never stopped. That high T gives you that Superman feeling.
Yeah.
So I can see where, as you get older, if it starts failing, that would be something I would desire.
Yeah, I looked into it, and I guess the normal range is huge.
Yes. And that's kind of like mine was 700 plus, which is like a 30-year-old.
Yeah, I think mine was 5 or 6 when I went, but you can go up to 900 or something.
Yeah, up to a super high or an athletic in shape person can be 1,200.
Oh wow.
Yeah, those are the guys that are jacked, that are there on top.
The guys you lose at arm wrestling.
Yes, every time. But no, I mean it's but a lot of that, but it's a great drug. I mean, I never put on weight. I never wore out.
Yeah, I can see where you'd want that.
And big thing is mental acuity. My gosh, I mean, I love math. I love numbers. I love research, and I love reading about stuff that means nothing. I love them rabbit holes, and I've got a lot of great friends that indulge me.
Yeah.
And I catch this like in the evenings. I catch myself daydreaming or buzzing off, but it all come back.
Oh yeah. If anybody, it's you.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then we'll have karaoke at my house.
Yes.
Hey, today is Tom Petty Day.
It is?
Yeah. Tell all your friends. I made it up.
Oh. I thought maybe it was his birthday or something.
Oh, no, it's Iggy Pop's birthday. Remember Iggy Pop?
Mm-hmm. Barely. How'd you know that?
95.5, the Bone Nation Poplar Bluff, Missouri.
Gotcha.
Shout out, boneheads. Hey, I mean, doesn't everybody listen to the radio anymore?
Yeah, but I just got XM in the Suburban, or Sirius XM, whatever
Oh my
it is
gosh.
now.
I still support, and this is on what they call Radio Nation, but it's still supporting the FM channels. So you're still going to hear about Barker's Towing, you know, and the, you know, storage units and all that, plus the local. The XM's great. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed it because I also do love blues and I like old classic rock. I like all music, to be honest. I like it all. You could put anything on. I really am not going to complain.
Yeah, we were talking about Howard Stern earlier. He's still got, I think it's 100 on there. We'll listen to him.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes it's a little too crude to be listening with Autumn driving down the road. It's like, let's go back to outlaw country.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. But, yeah, and the other thing, like now my favorite station for several years has been Poplar Bluff. And I mean, it's kind of that 70s, 80s, 90s genre, you know. So we got from Poison to Alice in Chains to the Eagles. I mean, it's that good blend, but they've got a super DJ on there.
Does that come in up here?
I get it on iHeartRadio.
Oh, okay.
And so I listen to it everywhere. And it just, you got a DJ. He's got, in the morning, we got Name That Riff. Hey, I was riff master. For a month, it was a Motley Crue Kickstart My Heart.
Oh, yeah. I saw Motley Crue.
Ain't they great?
Yeah. Except Tommy Lee, the drummer, was all mad because they wouldn't let him.
Well,
It was in St. Louis.
That's a whole show right there.
Yeah.
Remember, it's Tidy Whities and Converse All-Stars.
Yeah, who else was there? Motley Crue.
Yeah, I seen him with
Buck Cherry, maybe?
May have been Buck Cherry. I seen him with Quiet Riot. But yeah, still rocking.
Yeah, and who's the guitar player? Mick Mars?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I think he just got diagnosed with bad arthritis when I saw him. This was like 15 years ago, but he was still up there with that Telecaster just
shredding.
Yeah.
Ain't that awesome?
It was fun. It was whatever that big amphitheater is up there, like outdoor thing. There was like 6 or 7 bands. It was fun. We had a blast. So how'd you get into horseshoeing?
Oh, that is a crazy thing. And this is back, sale barns. Back we're talking in the late 70s, middle 70s. Every county had a sale barn, livestock barn, and all of us had a Friday night horse sale, you know. And I actually kind of got started trimming horses out on the gravel outside for $5-10. It sounds crazy, you know. I mean, that, and I may have got kicked out of a sale barn or two for pin hooking, for those of you that know what that is. But yeah, and just started trimming horses. I think I had and it's what they used to call an old anvil type. They called them hoof pairs at the time. We didn't really have hoof nippers, which was kind of a blunt anvil or square, and then you had a rounded blade that just kind of acted like a scissor. You know, it took some, and they were dull, and it took a lot of arm strength, and there wasn't a finesse that a certified farrier today possesses, and the tools and everything. I bought a Appaloosa horse off a neighbor. You want to hear a funny story?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I'm like 14, 15 years old. So always wanted a horse. My family is really Dutch. I mean, if you couldn't eat it, sell it, trade it, we really didn't have it. You know, we didn't have the flower gardens or horses or mini bikes and things like that. I got in my head I wanted a horse. I'd been riding with the neighbors. Just nobody owned trailers then. So I'd get off the bus with them and I'd ride these Appaloosas with them and these crossbreds. So finally it's like, you know, hey, we're going to sell this gelding, Cheyenne. I went, no, you can't do that. I go, I'll just buy him. Well, at that time, for the whole price of $300, I had me a leopard Appaloosa of questionable age. And he was ornery and not knowing anything now. I saved up all of my, at that time we used to walk soybeans and cut volunteer corn out.
Mm-hmm.
Used to pick up roots after the bulldozer cleared ground. And I had enough money. I bought old Cheyenne.
Cheyenne?
And I mean, he was a turd. He was ornery, but he was my horse. So I got off of the school bus. They give me a bridle. When I bought him, got on him bareback. It was just 3.5, 4 miles to my house. I was going to ride him home. I got down there and got on the main blacktop. And there again, you have to remember, I haven't told my parents or my grandparents or anybody. I get on this blacktop, I headed south, and he decides he's missing home. And when he whirls, he just dumps me. Takes off running all the way back home. Well, now I'm looking long in the mouth, and it's like, what have I done? I've lost my money. I've lost my horse. Here comes my granddad down the road. Sees me, picks me up. What are you doing? Well, bought this horse, and I got thrown off, and then I just lost it. He goes, where'd you buy it at? I said, well, up there at Fred Bergen's. So he turns the truck around. We go back to Fred's. My horse is standing there. They've got him caught. He drops the tailgate. He lets me sit on the tailgate. Doesn't make me ride him. I lead him home.
How old were you then?
Oh, I was 15,
Nice.
14, 15. And so with that, and it was the other thing was, at that time, horseshoers and farriers were still a hard commodity to find. And so I had a man and his son that would 2 or 3 times a year come by and help me trim them. And they're the ones that taught me to trim. And then I started trimming outside of sale barns, just on loose horses and that coming in. And that horse at that time that we were selling and trading wasn't the horse we're raising and training today. They were 2 different horses. And it got to the point, for me wanting to come down here and ride with somebody, I couldn't get shoes on. So I got Delbert, took the time. It cost me a 6-pack of Stag. He taught me how to put the first set of front shoes on that horse and told me the back ones are just like it. Good luck. So then I started shoeing Cheyenne and started shoeing the neighbors. But then after I got out of high school and I got married, I went to farrier school at McNews Farrier School down in Gadsden, Alabama. And I did get tested and certified there.
So you learned out of necessity.
I learned out of necessity. It just, because that's kind of like, hey, do you know how a horseshoer and a cat are like?
No.
We won't come out. You can't get us out in the rain, and we won't come when you call.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, and and I'm just saying, a lot of poor farriers, and I mean, it's backbreaking work.
Oh, yeah.
The weather kills us. I mean, when it's 20 degrees, our hands are froze. When it's 90s and hotter and humid, we're burning up. And, it's a tough profession for any young man or young woman. But I learned out of necessity and just absolutely, I loved it. I'd love to do it, especially them good old trail horses and good farm horses. Those guys can drop a lead rope and just sit and have a Coke with me.
Right. Yeah, so back then, you learned out of necessity because they were hard to find?
Uh-huh. Yeah, they're just, and everybody that shoed back then, nobody was a farrier. In the 70s and 80s, we all had what they called jobs in town. Okay, I actually worked for an oil company. So my farrier work or shoeing that I did was after work or on the weekends or whenever I was available. And there wasn't any just full-time farriers at that time.
Yeah, they're hard to find now, too.
Yeah, they are.
There's a few young kids around here.
Yeah, and there's, like where we're from up there, There's a young man in the Albion area that's coming on strong. There's another one up there by Lewiston, north of Flora, that is a crackerjack. And there's another young man down there by us, by Garden of the Gods. And they're trying to make careers out of it. They're trying to make it their passion, their work, and dedicate to it.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of horses out there.
Yeah. And you can make a good career out of that.
I made a wonderful career. And so I probably started trimming horses 78. For the youngsters that don't know how long ago that was, 1977, 1978. And then probably started nailing shoes on and shoeing about 82, 83. I've enjoyed it. I've learned a lot. I've met some wonderful people, met some crackerjack owners that just give everything for their horses.
Trying to do the math in my head. How many years is that? 50?
Well, from 83, 84, yeah.
That's
40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, so I've been trimming probably 44, 45.
Did you ever have any injuries? Bad ones?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Can you see the scar?
Yeah.
Yeah. I pulled a nail from the heel of that hand all the way up between them two fingers. And actually had a resident at a hospital, young student resident. They had the tools, but didn't really have a surgeon. A foot surgeon sewed all that up. Whenever I did it, after they cut that, I couldn't move these three fingers at all. Because it just tore it right to the bones on there and ripped. And where it was, I just drove a nail, and I was sweaty, and it was muddy. And when the horse pulled, that nail just sunk that nail through, and it just ripped through there, just like a fish hook. It just tore everything out. Less than a second. I really didn't think I was hurt bad until I went to reach down again, pick up my hammer off the ground. I just couldn't get it. So that was a wrap it up in a rag and head to the emergency room at that time.
Yeah. I haven't had any bad cuts.
Yeah. And then I broke this right leg in two places, shoeing my wife's horse in Missouri. Broke some pinky toes, but yeah, it's not for the, I mean, there's hazards everywhere.
Right.
But
you got to be tough.
But, it's just like me talking to especially men who ride horses for other people or start horses. We've really bred all the outlaws out. There's very few outlaws left out there anymore.
Yeah. The horses, even we grew up with horses and I paid attention to them, but not like I do now. But even however many 12 years out, the horses have changed.
We've got smarter on our breeding. We've got more selective. Yes. Yeah. Because in the 80s and that, we had horses that you couldn't ride. We had horses you couldn't shoe. I mean, they were just awful.
Yeah. I wonder how many of those had stuff that they didn't know about back then.
Well, and looking back, I always wonder that, now that we're getting smarter, back then I would have thought equine chiropractor was a quack.
Right.
I'm just being honest. At that time, I laughed at people. That can't be a thing. You can't be spending money on that. Well, now with some of, and I was lucky to have some 1D athletes, some top shell horses that honestly, the massage therapist or the chiropractor would check the horse before I would shoe it. And it made my job so much easier.
Yeah, I don't understand how some of that works.
Oh, I don't either, and
but I've seen it
amazing.
Work. Yeah,
and and now I am a firm believer that is a good investment, and that's maintenance. That's money invested in your horse.
Yeah, and you can't replace your horse like you used to for $300.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah, I always tell the story, but Dad started on racehorses.
Yes,
that was his main thing, and that was
we were not that time I met your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was back, I'm going to guess, 85, 86, 87. And I was actually doing a little breeze riding, sprint riding. I was about 130-some 5 pounds. But I was doing a little breeze in it all. And I had two owners that were bringing at that time we had Illinois fair horses. Remember fair
Oh, yeah.
racing?
Yeah.
And we were hauling horses 3.5 hours down here for your dad for lameness issues.
He tells me, he's like, those were the easy days. You flex an ankle and they're sore and you take a chip out. And then now all these quarter horses,
Oh yeah.
it's in the foot, but we can't figure it out.
Oh yeah. And I'll tell you the other thing was the blisters in the throat and
Yep.
the LASIK cases. You're just me standing back. I learned more from your dad just being a fly on the wall.
Yeah. He's got some stories.
Oh my gosh, I'm sure he does.
We had one this morning that's probably going to need joint surgery. And
Mhm.
it's this lady's favorite horse and probably will be forever. And she's worried about it. It's like, it's pretty easy. They make 2 little slits. They put a camera in there. No big deal. I was like, Dad used to do these in the lawn at Ellis Park before the arthroscopy. They'd cut open the joint
Yeah.
and sew it up, sew the joint capsule up. And him and the one guy out there one day, they did it before cell phones, of course. And you watch the news in the morning, you may catch the weather. They had the surgery light out there, and I guess a terrible thunderstorm came. So they had an ankle wide open. It was raining into the joint. Then the rain hit the light bulb, shattered
Popped in,
the
yeah,
glass.
Shattered
Yeah.
it, yeah.
And that horse went on and did fine.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's like you were talking about that. I've seen several like stifle check ligament surgeries on a horse just sedated, standing
Yep.
up. And I would have swore he'd be lame for life, and they just do great.
Yeah, they're really good at healing if we don't screw them up.
Yeah. And that's another one of them and that was the other thing, like working with your dad, you get to see some things we probably wouldn't come across, like shivers or
Yeah.
spring halt. Or like Brenda's foal this last year, Legacy, had
Oh, the contracted tendons?
yeah. I have never seen that in my life.
Yeah, we had one this morning.
And that was 100% success case.
Yeah.
I mean, we couldn't be any happier.
Yeah, that's sometimes side effects are good. Because
Mhm.
that was we overdosed that horse with antibiotics, basically. And the side effect of that, the Oxytet, was it chelates calcium. It doesn't necessarily bind it, but you can think of it like that. And it relaxes those muscles and lets that tendon stretch.
Oh, it was fantastic. Now, 12 hours later, my wife Brenda was scared to death we went too far.
Yeah.
She was afraid it would never get back up. But no, to this day, that filly is 100%.
Yeah, we had one. We used that same antibiotic to treat Lawsonia, which is a bacteria that gets in the intestinal walls.
Mm-hmm.
We had I think it was a weanling or a yearling racehorse that got it. And when we put the catheter in that thing, you would have thought it was laid down for a castration. The guy had to hold its head up. It was just
my
lifeless. Like, we'll try it. We put the catheter in, and they gave him that dose twice a day for several weeks. And when she finally got over it, we went to take the catheter out and stuff, and she was walking on her ankles on all 4.
Oh my gosh.
Just that loose.
Yeah.
And she straightened back up. And then I think he had to be a weanling, because I think Dad went out there to castrate that thing, and it was rank.
Oh my gosh.
We should have let this thing die. Something, I forgot its name, something Martini.
Oh,
but
that's fantastic.
Yeah, we've had a lot of fun. And we get in a lot of disasters too.
Oh yeah. And like with you guys, we've been down here 7-8 years. Yeah. And just the technology we've seen, like through this facility, like with the fecal egg counts, and now with the gastroscope and all that, is just the technology and the advancements is overwhelming.
It's almost scary.
Well, and whenever you said, "Hey, come here, you guys see this," and you showed me bots,
Oh, yeah.
that is so unbelievable. Something we couldn't have seen before or
Yeah.
seen them attached.
I always tell people this, but the room where all our blood machines, we call it the lab now, that was the dark room. That room, when the building was built, was for the dark room. It had plumbing and everything.
Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah.
you take your x-rays and go in there.
Yep.
Heard a lot of cuss words come out of that room. Nowadays, that one's not good, let's take another one.
Yeah.
It's on the screen a second later. But everything in that room didn't exist when this building was built.
Totally believe that, because I Because I can remember, and the the cost is affordable now. I mean, you had a lot of owners that just couldn't afford, I mean, for a pet or whatever.
Right.
Back in the day, they couldn't justify
Yeah.
the cost of some of it.
The blood machines in there that we get blood results within 5-10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You used to have to put on a slide, and it was had to stain the blood so all the cells looked different.
Uh-huh.
And it had little grids, and you had to go through there with. And I think the clicker's still here somewhere and count everything.
Yeah, count all of them.
Yeah, now we get it done. And then you could send it to the labs, but it took 2 or 3 days to get it there, then to get the results back. By then, you're doing something to the horse, whether it's right or wrong.
Oh, yeah, you've got to, something's got to start.
Yeah, and we got ultrasound. Dad went through vet school ultrasound didn't exist. It probably did, but not where they could use it. I'm sure the big human hospitals had it. But now we've got ultrasounds that the images are just insane.
Well, and even like in our reproductive, sciences and all this, we've come so far from just waiting every month.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can check for, follicles. We can check to see that there are in foal within days.
Yeah, I think I can see them. I think the earliest one is like 13 days.
And that saves you from missing a month.
Yep.
And that saves you from them babies, foals that are too late.
Yeah, now they're even with the ICSI, the intracytoplasmic sperm injection. I mean, they're sexing sperm, getting a single sperm, and it's a machine, but it's like a robotic thing.
Yes.
And injecting the sperm in the egg, and then putting that in a recip mare.
Yeah.
It's just insane what they can do. In fact, we had one last summer, nice mare that colic bad. There was no, even if we could operate her right then and there, she would have died.
Mm-hmm.
But we ended up, once we talked insurance and everything, and we got their quote unquote approval to euthanize, on the way there, Jenny was working. And this guy does a lot in Missouri with ICSI and aspirating eggs and stuff like that. And this is like 11 o'clock at night. We're driving there, and Jenny's like, what if we get her ovaries? I didn't even think about that. So I called the place in Missouri, awesome. And I'd never done that before. But the vet there was nice, and Jenny looked up a paper on the way and kind of told us how to do it. When we got there and unloaded her, she went down. So we went ahead and euthanized her and then took the ovaries out. That guy got in his truck, drove 4 hours to Missouri, and I think they got 8 eggs out of her.
Oh, my gosh.
And they just put an embryo from one of those in a mare. She didn't stick, but so hopefully we can, and luckily, Jenny, I didn't even think about it. Because my mind is, well, you know how those situations are.
Oh, I know exactly how they go.
But he was tickled to death, even though, as tragic as that was.
Right.
We can get
still
something.
a little gold out of it, good out of it.
And they'll do that with stallions too.
Really?
If they die, you can castrate them and send them somewhere, and they'll freeze it, of course.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, we had one where I worked in Texas. It was a halter horse, and it was dying of HYPP. It was a 2-year-old, genetic disease. There was me, another intern, a boarded surgeon who was also boarded in like emergency and critical care, and a boarded internist. And this thing was dying. None of us could save it. Of course, we were just there to help. But even these experts couldn't save it. So we broke the news to the owner. What did they say? Can we get its sperm?
Really?
Yeah, which is cool, but
yeah,
this
I would have never thought about that.
But the 2-year-old just died of this genetic disease. Let's get his sperm so he can have babies.
Yeah.
But we did, and I think we shipped it. It was in the afternoon. We did it just like you would a normal castration, put it in saline and shipped it overnight to Colorado State. And I think they ended up getting over 100 straws of frozen semen.
No kidding.
Yeah. Hopefully somebody unplugged the freezer. But
yeah. Oh, that is unreal.
Yeah.
And see, a lot of that, when we were talking the 70s and 80s, we didn't even dream of that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what, I joke about it, but in 15 years, are you going to walk in and just, get a little closer to the mic.
Oh, okay. I keep watching back here. I keep turning back.
Never mind the man behind the curtain.
The man behind the curtain. Hey, is it the Oz?
Oh, yeah. So the reason we got you here is to tell you that John has been talking to your wife.
Oh my gosh.
Behind your back.
Hey, you want to know a little secret?
What?
I talk to everyone else's wife. Hey, it's always, you know what I figured out a long time ago?
What's that?
Little girls all love horses.
It's true.
Yeah, but go ahead. So
Why do you think I played in bands?
Oh my gosh. Oh, speaking of which, we got to do a little Aerosmith later.
Oh, okay.
I got this Steven Tyler part down pat.
Okay.
So what's John talking to my wife
I'm supposed
about?
to ask you about a founder. Was it a pony? A pony named Sammy.
Oh my gosh. And this is something, like I say, with a lot of the young people today, they can't, like we're talking about these advancements. This was back in the 80s, probably 86 or 87. And I went to some, at that time, they were clinics. There was Myron McLean, Dick Redden, and some of these earlier real, what do you want to call, pioneers, like in our trade and different things. That's where we were, the lily pad was invented, and clogs and different things for laminitis, founder's issues, and everything. And along the way, there was a guy in Allendale, cow farmer, who had bought, and at that time, old men used to trade these ponies at the sale barn. $25, $50, $100, and Paul had bought these ponies for the grandkids. Well, they're kind of like a cow, right? So this pony named Sammy, he got everything the cows ate, which was alfalfa hay and silage and, shell corn and everything. It didn't take long. Poor Sammy's feet got sore. He laid down. So at that time, Paul had daughters, and I was shoeing pain horses and this and that. And it's like, and we hadn't even trimmed Sammy yet since the sale barn. So got him up there, looked it all over, and that's where working with a couple other vets up there, James Allison from Lawrenceville, and that's like, this pony won't get up. He goes, is he colicked? Is he gassy? Is he biting the sides? Is he rolling? No, he just acts like we get him stood up and he won't really walk. He'll lay back down. He goes, feel his feet, see if he's got a pulse in his feet. And I went, are you serious? He goes, no. This is all over a rotary phone.
Right.
Explaining this to me. No cell phones, no Skype, no nothing. So I checked it out, and it's like, yeah, it is. I said, you can actually feel. He goes, how many feet? I said, all of them. He goes, are the hooves hot? I said, what do you mean hot? He goes, if you touch the ground, or you touch his chest and you touch his feet, are his feet hotter than his body? Well, go back out again. And see, this is what a lot of this generation don't understand, is hang up the phone, go back out, and check old Sammy out. It's like, yeah. I said, when I run hoof testers around him, he's sore in the heels and the quarters. He goes, well, he's foundered. He goes, what he needs to do is, if you can cut any excess off, like the toe, so he needs to stand. At that time, they would tie him in a creek or a pond or ice their feet,
Mm-hmm.
And that was that, and a little butte was about all they really offered him. That, and take everything away from them. All carbohydrates, all grains. And Sammy, believe it or not, Sammy actually got to where he got up, and he was showing he had a stretched white line and stretched lamina and different things. But Sammy got up to kind of prance around and trot around. He was just a lead line pony. He wasn't a riding pony. And then we thought things were going really good. And then I got the call from Paul again. Poor old Sammy's laying down again.
There's two types of ponies, those that have foundered and those that haven't foundered yet.
Oh, yeah. So Paul got feeling bad for Sammy, and he bought a lawn sweeper. So he's dumping his lawn sweepings, his grass clippings over the fence to Sammy for a treat.
Mm.
And believe it or not, that was enough to trigger another episode.
Yep. My minis.
Yeah. And old Sammy, this time I come and looked at him. And at that time, I was more of a single dad. And so I kind of always took kids with me everywhere I went. So we were there, and Sammy had just started to get cracked where the top of his hooves, right at the coronary band periopa, was separating.
Mm.
Dang it, Paul. I mean, this ain't good. Meanwhile, my daughter Ava, my twins are on the ground petting him and kneeled around him. Paul goes, I'll just give him to the kids.
Of course.
So then and it's like, I kind of was afraid which way this was going. So it's like, I don't want him. And of course, the kids got in on it. So we went home and got a flatbed pickup, and we lifted old Sammy up. He only weighed about 350 pounds. We stuck him in the back of the pickup truck. He didn't stand up, rode home like that. And I got the doctor him, and I got James, the vet, to come out and look at him. And there was another one, Van Winkle, up there, looked at him, and it's like, hey, this ain't good, And of course, it's like, well, crap, I hate to just give up on him. But when the right hoof come off, the little guy got up.
The hoof came off?
Yeah, he got up. It's like, now what do I do? Now the kids think he's going to be healed. And that's where along the way we got to, and there again, this is just all over the phone and talking to different people. We were mixing iodine with sugar, making sugar dine. We were soaking that in diapers, cloth diapers, wrapping on it and putting on it, and actually took a PVC pipe and a 45. We made him a cast.
Oh.
And taped it on, and yes, it rubbed a hair off his leg. It did a lot of things, but evidently that founder didn't completely kill that bed. He grew that hoof back. I was told he couldn't do it.
That's awesome.
Have you ever heard of it?
I've heard it. I've never seen it.
Well,
but I've heard of it.
But along the line, I remember no cell phones, no internet. I got my I actually got a Department of Ag, a farrier certification from the University of Alabama. I was doing with yellow manila envelopes in the mail and a administrative assistant named Melba. We were just mailing stuff back and forth. So along the way, I was talking to her, and then one of the professors down there, he says, whatever you're doing, he says, take pictures of. I went and bought a Kodak 110.
Oh, yeah.
Took pictures and taped them in a spiral bound notebook and wrote down what I did and when I reset him. And Sammy ended up growing that one hoof back.
What, did it look normal?
No. It looked like a wooden shoe.
He could still run when he got out.
Yeah, and Sammy went ahead with proper diet and real, oh my, he lived. After you and I got married, he lived another 9.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And then what finally got him, I think, was more of something inside, like a organ shutdown or something. Yeah. When I got him, I was guessing he was 20-ish when we got him. So, yeah, he grew up to be the biggest menace. He was also proud cut.
Oh, God.
He had a scar under there, but that rascal would fight any gelding out there.
That's funny.
But yeah, Sammy, and that was one of them. That was my one, and I actually mailed all that stuff down there to.
Okay, don't be scared of it, Mike.
I actually mailed all that stuff down there to Alabama, and actually got a letter of honor.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and like I say, but yeah, I mean, the whole farrier trade and what the appliances and packages and things we've got available now is unbelievable.
Yeah. And there's a lot of gimmicks too.
There is. And, there's some things I'm not going to do it so I don't get beat up on Facebook. And that didn't work. There's hoof staples and hoof clinches and hoof bands. Um, but, as far as a lot of what we understand about these foot diseases and pathologies is amazing,
Yeah.
and how we could correct it. But still, my whole interest and goal was that sound, healthy using horse, that cowboy horse, that trail horse, that farm horse. Those are the ones I really enjoyed.
Yeah. And not much has changed in the treatment. I mean, we still, the best thing to do if get that, use ice now, unless you got like a creek. But, well, I mean, we'll do 72 hours straight in ice.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a good cooler and a lot of ice and somebody pretty dedicated, but that's one of the best things. We still use a butte. We can measure insulin now. So we do use drugs to help reduce the insulin, like metformin that the diabetic people take. That's what I'm giving my mini now. And butte.
Well, how's he doing?
Good. He's better. We did something with him, the amnion we probably talked about.
Yes.
So they've got a couple products that you can inject. So with him, we did a regional imperfusion. We put a tourniquet above his fetlock and injected amnion below it.
Oh, my gosh.
And let it sit for 20 minutes because you can only leave the tourniquet on for so long.
Okay.
But that's supposed to really help reduce inflammation and bring in new circulation. Because we went out, that was a Friday afternoon, me, John, or Friday morning, we had a surgery cancel. So we went out there and did that to him. And his left one, I think the day before I tried to clean his right one out. And when I picked it up, I just picked the whole horse up.
Right.
Like he wouldn't stand on that left one. I need to x-ray him, but we did that on a Friday morning. That Friday afternoon, I could tell he felt a little better. Then I left town for Easter Saturday, got back Sunday night, and he's just standing square on both of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I've weaned him off the butte, and I'm weaning him off the metformin, but he's in a little stall eating hay. He's mad.
Well, and it's a shame, but we can kill him with kindness.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, us as owners, and
Yeah.
that's, and that's like with our travels. I mean, we get invited. We're going 4th of July to ride consignment horses and work cattle in Missouri.
That'll be fun.
And, we've done it in Northwest Missouri, Kansas, everywhere. And a lot of, God bless that old ranch horse. He's tougher than a pine knot. He's out there in a field with no windbreak, no stall, no barn, butt to the wind.
Yep.
Just toughing it out. And I mean, stout as an ox.
We got to go to Wyoming, me and a friend of mine. His dad was a truck driver. And he found there was, they did hay, like alfalfa. And he got hooked. He just went out there to pick up a load of hay to take to North Carolina, became friends with these people. So we rode out there one summer with him. And we stayed for a few days. They had to round up enough Indians on the reservation to fill up the semi.
Yep.
But we got to take cows up. I think it was in Du Bois or something. And I rode, but I'd never seen that. I asked this guy, I said, how big is your pasture? He's like, I don't know, 150,000 acres. He's like, you see that big rock wall over there? That's the north fence.
Yeah.
But we're on these horses, and I was talking to the guys. They foal them out, and then when they wean them, they'll kick them out until they're 2 or 3.
Exactly.
And the tough ones survive.
Don't touch them. Don't trim their feet. Don't worm them. Don't nothing.
So we had a couple guys on 4-wheelers, and we pushed I think it was 200 cows. The 4-wheelers went as far as they could. I mean, we're winding, going back kind of the trail, and we dump them on the way home. We just went straight back. And these things, I mean, we're sliding down these hills. I was like, I'm going to cripple somebody's horse. But these things were, I mean, and that was in 2010 or 11 probably. And I was talking to him. It's like, oh yeah, that's probably $3,000-$4,000 horse.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That here around here now for a trail horse. I wish I had a trailer full.
Well, that's what you're talking. One of them that we used to go up and help with, especially the fall fall weaning and steering up there. Most of his pastures, they were either called 1s or 2s, and they would actually be 1 square mile or one square mile by 2 miles. And they would actually close the county road between them. And I mean, it would take us 4 or 5 hours to actually gather one of those pastures. It's unreal.
Yeah, I mean, that still goes on out there, but it's some people around here with their ranches, you know.
Yeah, 40. Well, I get tickled at one. They're at, and this is up till towards Maryville, Kingsville, Northwest Missouri. The catch pen, 240 acres. Their trap is bigger than a lot of people's farms.
Yeah, with their ranches.
Yeah, and it's just a whole crazy different idea. And to be honest, $10 corn about putting into a lot of that.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Can you hand me that, John? The fly landed in my coffee.
Retro.
You ever drink these, Mike?
No. I still
You
like
want one? It's just electrolytes.
No. Is it healthy? No. Yeah, that's kind of like all along this. It's like you should drink more water. It don't taste good.
There's water in that.
Yeah, that's the way I see it.
Yeah. I got on these not too long ago.
And a guy, we talk about our own personal health and all. And it's like the farrier and the cowboy and especially the rodeo athlete. They're different than what we were in the 80s. I mean, you think about, a lot of us, we get banged up and bruised up. We were headed for some Coors Light and
right,
and a pack of Marlboro Reds. You know it?
We had a guy in here. He's I don't know how old he was, but that generation, he was in here, and he's got some really nice calf horses. And he was talking. I went and watched the calf roping, and these athletes, if you want to call them that, look like sumo wrestlers.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. That's what we were talking the other day too. Is like I don't think a lot of people realize how physical. I mean, nothing like you guys, but even my job is.
Oh, I know it is, and that's just like, if they want to question it, that's like dentals. I helped a guy for several years just as a helper do dentals. I about wore me out just holding a horse's head. Yep. I couldn't imagine being squatted down halfway on my knees, working up.
Yeah.
I mean, your rotator cuffs aren't made for that.
Right. I'm a dog on my cousin a little bit. He's a medical doctor in town. We ran into him at the Mexican place one night, and I said something. And they built this brand new hospital downtown. Have you seen it in El Dorado?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Brand new. Yes.
Yeah. So we go over there. I was like, the first time I was in there is when he started working there. And I was like, man, this is nice. And I go back to his wing, and they get my weight, and I step on this scale. That I think it came over on the Mayflower. It should have been on that Antique Pickers show. So I just gave him crap about that for a long time. And I said something about his scale. And he said, yeah, we're going to get a new one. He said, they're going to get me a new procedure table too. I was like, uh-oh, did you break it? He goes, no, I did a procedure this morning for like 10 minutes. I was bent over. I was like, you're not getting any sympathy from me, man.
Oh, no. And, that's kind of like, now those people are more conscious of their bodies and their positions and everything. I'll tell you some horror stories for the young farriers. Don't chew in the back of a stock trailer, even if it is raining. That is an accident waiting to happen. Yeah. But, at the time, you just, reason goes out the window.
Yep. Yeah, I was reading something sometime where most vets get hurt is helping people load their horse.
I can believe that.
Yeah, and then my sister-in-law, when she was doing her either internship or residency, she broke her elbow doing that.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. So, I mean, some people struggle loading horses out here. And a lot of times they're sedated.
Yeah.
But we'll just kind of keep an eye on them for a while. Like, we'll let them figure it out. But we'll help them, but I'm always cautious because that's a good way to get hurt.
Yeah, that's always that's a wrong place to be.
Yeah. I got to know about these glasses too. Are those the same ones we see on Facebook all the time? Or are those new?
No, they're different ones. And what those are, believe it or not, those are neck guard, heart guard, pet warmer glasses, or kitty cat. And with Brenda and I, we are blessed. We've got people all over the United States that come and spend their vacations with us. They like this. Well, this coming Sunday, we've got several trailers coming up from Jackson, Mississippi, that are taking their vacations to come ride Shawnee Forest with me, and I'm proud to show everything I know. You know, but these classes come from, I laugh, my favorite vet techs up in Michigan. So that's kind of the joke, kind of the fee for people to come ride. I don't want anything. Fix me supper, bring me some cheap sunglasses. So like this 2025, the end of the Cancer and All's a cheap sunglass tour. So when you come ride with us, bring the gaudiest Elton John looking things you've got. And that's where my thing, and this was taught to me, believe it or not, by a really good neighbor when I was young, who taught me the importance of the everyday man, the everyday person. That's where the selfies with celebrities come along.
Oh, okay. That makes sense now.
That woman or that guy that works 40 hours and keeps a home and raises kids, I mean, they should be celebrated. Those should be our celebrities.
That's right.
That we respect and we applaud.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where with the glasses and everything and the selfies with celebrities is just celebrating. All of us just everyday people.
Not the celebrities that go into orbit for a minute and come back down.
Oh, yeah.
Now they're astronauts.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started on that. I thought they were all going to move out of the country anyway.
Was it Wendy's or something said send them back?
Oh, my gosh.
And it was really them. They're like, no, we stand by it. They're owning it.
Oh, my gosh. That is good.
Then I saw another one. It was, I think the chimp was named Ham.
Yeah.
It's like, congratulations, you did the same thing Ham the chimp did in 1983.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't know if I'd do it.
Really? No, I would. I mean, if
My wife wouldn't. She's like, you wouldn't do it? I was like, I don't know.
Oh, my gosh. See, I've still got, and I do not call them bucket list. I got checkoff list. I got two really big things I want to do. Number one, I want to ride my horse at Pasadena at the Rose Parade. Just no reason just to be one of them there, you know it? And the other one, I'd like to do one of them mega bungee jumps, one of them rope swings like at Moab. You know, that whole thing of just standing. And I also had a day job, work for an oil company and everything. We'd have flare towers, which it ain't a mile, but I mean, they'd be 200 and some feet tall towers that you'd have to climb to the top. And when you get up there, I mean, you can get them rocking.
I was going to say that.
And you get that adrenaline, that almost ticklish, scared, don't want to move feelings. And I live on that for that adrenaline. I live for putting a foot in a stirrup on a horse I don't know.
What about scuba diving?
I see. I've done that, and that was another story. That was a mistake. I actually took classes at VU University up there at Vincent's, and then actually had a brother-in-law, and it was hard scuba diving in Illinois because everything's cloudy. Everything's so unless you were like in a pool learning or getting certified and different things. But I mean, like, actually, I'd kind of, was waiting my turn. I signed up for the rescue squad and all this. And then I'm leaning on the side of the sofa, water in my ears with a Q-tip when I slipped and fell.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, I popped an eardrum.
Oh, did it heal?
Yeah, it healed up fine. But like at my work, it took me out of anywhere in SCBAs or any pressurized oxygen mask and all that. But it was painful. I mean, it was crazy for several weeks.
Get in there on that mic. Mike.
Yeah. I keep backing up. I'm kind of bashful.
You're bashful. I've got a ruptured eardrum from an infection.
Now, did yours heal?
No.
Now, mine did. Mine healed fine.
And I didn't even know what happened. I had an ear infection because I just kind of felt like I couldn't hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, it felt better one day, and I went for a recheck. Like, oh, you got a big hole in there.
Oh, my God.
They're like, it might heal. So I had to wear like wax earplugs, and I'm supposed to still, but I don't. but it never healed. But they said there's a surgery they could have done where they take tendon from somewhere behind your ear and they go in front of your eardrum and cut a slit and then go in behind it and put it on there. And I was like, that doesn't sound like much fun. And the guy's like, no. He goes, and there's a nerve that runs through there, and everybody's nerves at a little bit different depth. And if I accidentally cut that nerve, everything's going to taste like metal for 6 months.
Oh.
I was like, I could probably lose some weight if that happens. But I didn't end up doing it. It hasn't bothered me since.
I can say, even with your music and that, it doesn't bother you?
I can tell hearing there's a little bit different.
Is there any tone difference?
Not that I can tell.
That's fantastic.
But my ears aren't that great anyways. So the only thing was it happened, I guess it was 2017. So I was adamant about putting the wax earplugs in there in the shower and everything. But now I get them checked every couple of years. And
you're at that age that,
I'm just going to live with it.
Yeah. And I mean, and that age is different for everybody. You finally reach that point where it's like, I didn't need it anyway.
Yeah. If I ever have to have another root canal, I'm just going to take it out of there.
Yeah.
I've had one.
Ain't that miserable?
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, mine was awful. I want to whoop that dentist ass.
So I did it at a place in Paducah, and he was a middle-aged guy, but his dad was a vet. So we hit it off.
Oh, cool.
And he's like, forget everything you've heard about root canals. This is no worse than having a cavity filled. And he was right. But there was, my dentist didn't have digital films. So he thought I had a fractured tooth.
Okay. See, mine was fractured. So it was cracked anyway. It seemed like, and they had difficulty. I eat up anesthesia and that. I'm one of them tough ones. What do they call them? Purple stars?
I don't know. It's a testosterone, probably.
Well, but yeah, and that's kind of like and I've had some like skin cancer issues and things like that. That's where they're like the Novocaines and locals. It seems like my metabolism just chews up real fast. And that's where, like on mine, my tooth was fractured. So when they got the top cut out, drilled out, and then they started pushing the wire, mushing the nerve up. All of a sudden, it's like, I bit down on him. He says, "You don't feel that?" And I said, "You want bet?" So it's another shot. And they did. They finally got to where, but, I about peed my pants.
Yeah, so they were trying to figure out which tooth it was.
Oh,
so
really?
he took, before they started like the x-rays and stuff. Yeah. So he took a little cotton, like a Q-tip thing, dipped it in liquid nitrogen. And then he touched one tooth, nothing. He touched the other one, and I would have
lit you up.
I could have punched him in the face.
Yeah.
So the whole time I restrained myself, and the whole time he's doing this root canal, I didn't feel a thing. He gave me the nerve blocks. It didn't hurt until I went to pay for it.
Yes.
Then that hurt. And then they told me, you got to get a crown too. That's another $800. But the whole time I was thinking, like, man, these horses that have something, I could maybe use that technique. But then I'm thinking, they're not going to refrain from kicking me if I do that, because that was the quickest, sharpest pain.
Oh, yeah. And that was where, like, my tooth, and I've fractured a few others, and I'll be honest, I had them pulled instead of spinning. Looking back, I've got 4, 5, I've got 6 molars gone. I need to invest in some partials and this and that. But I had 2 root canals and 2 crowns, and the others I had just had pulled.
Yeah. Are the crowns still good?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They're still great. And the dental or the dentist that put them in did a great job. They're solid. I mean, I've had 0 issues. But on all the ones prior to them, where I just went $250, $275 to pull it, or $8,000 for a root canal and a crown, just had them pull them.
Yeah.
In my looking back, I wished I had my teeth back.
Yeah, they're doing root canals on horses.
Really?
Yeah, they actually take the tooth out and do the root canal and put it back.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
And it takes?
Most of the time, if they're fast enough, evidently it takes.
No kidding.
And I told my dentist about it, and he said they do that in people sometime too.
Well, you wouldn't think that'd work at all. I mean, that's
no.
Crazy. I mean, that's just crazy.
I guess the quickness has to come from the root canal.
Okay.
Because pulling teeth, I'm assuming most of them are young horses to try
Yes.
to screw things up. But I mean, those teeth are. It takes me forever to get them out of there. But I guess the guys that do it all the time are quicker.
Yeah.
But God, we had one the other day that fractured it, and the part of the root's still in there because it had like sclerosed to the bone.
Mm-hmm.
We worked on that thing for about 4 hours.
Oh my!
I could hardly
gosh.
make a fist that night.
Oh my! Top tooth or a bottom
Top tooth, yeah,
Oh,
way in the back too. Of course,
Oh,
couldn't
my
see
God.
anything. But the horse was a good patient.
Good.
A lot of drugs, but
Well, drugs are a friend.
yes, what they say in school: better living through chemistry.
Yes, exactly right.
Oh, what else? Oh, you got a new horse trailer.
Got a new horse trailer. Got a brand new Merhow bought from our good friends out at Cowtown, Cuban, Missouri. And they've been kind of our go-to. They have fixed us up. And there again, that's part of that check-off list. When you kind of get to our age, you're at that last roof you put on your house, that last trailer you're probably going to buy. And we got exactly everything we could ever wanted.
Was it custom, or did you just find one you wanted?
Nope, just custom. I mean, it's got the rear tack and the side load and hickory cabinets and a sofa and a dinette. I mean, it is top shelf now.
Where are you going to take it? Everywhere.
Everywhere. I can say everywhere that Dodge will drag it, you know. Like I say, we're headed to, and there again, even though we just live south of Bigfoot, south of Garden of the Gods. We live 1 mile south of Bigfoot. But that still doesn't stop us from trailering 3-4 miles and camping a high knob with our friends.
Yeah.
You know, because that's kind of, we still enjoy the camping. You know, the fires and the after supper beers, the whole thing.
Yeah. We got a camper last year, and the kids are loving it.
Oh, yeah.
I like it too. We always tent camped, and I had a pop up in school and stuff. But
You'll love, yeah. Kids love camping, but yeah, we're headed for Savannah, St. Joe, Missouri. Like I say, 4th of July. Go up there and ride horses and work with a good friend of ours. And then we go to Eminence, Missouri, to cross country in August and July, and just anywhere we can go. Yeah, we like to travel. I don't like the 2 or 3 day cross country trips, but we're right in the middle from Ohio to the Appalachian Trail to Alabama, Georgia, Arkansas, and Missouri's got some unbelievable trail riding and camping.
a lot of people that have been everywhere say that the Shawnee's still their favorite or the best. Is that?
Yeah, and that's where, and to be honest, that's where everybody wants to come ride with us.
Yeah, because it is in your backyard.
Well, and the other thing, and that's kind of like, I'm an adventurer. I mean, I like new stuff. You may have seen it 100 times, but the first time I see it, I just revel in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd have been a Christopher Columbus if I could have, you know? But that's where, like, a lot of these friends and a lot of these that come and stay with us, I'm not going to say we don't know it all. I'm learning. A lot of locals are showing me some brand new stuff, some really wonderful hidden treasures every year. But like our friends coming from Mississippi, they camped at different campgrounds every year. They've got to see a really wide variety. For them, you know, I mean, counting Alabama and Arkansas, Shawnee's the best riding they've seen.
Yeah.
The most variety. And that's what we'd laugh. There's kind of a joke out there. We had a current river run through Illinois. We couldn't keep people out.
Right. That's the only bad thing is the summer.
Yeah.
The heat and humidity.
Yeah. If we had a clean river like that, we wouldn't be able to keep people. We'd have it all. But yes, I mean, Shawnee, and I mean, just for all the opportunities, from deer hunting to mushroom hunting, riding our horses, hiking. I like to do it all during the winter. Several of us will hike and we'll go icicle hunting. After them really frigid weeks, there's some hidden gems out there around these waterfalls and these box canyons. And I mean, it'd be tons of icicles, huge icicles, ice flows. That, you know, I mean, unless you go hunting them, you'll never know they're there.
Yeah, and I grew up here, but I mean, half of this stuff. Well, John made a video to try to get an intern, and he took footage from people that I was like, man, that's like 45 minutes away, and I've never even been there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And that's what I've still got a whole list of stuff that I just keep. Like I say, we've been exploring like the Case River wetlands and Inspiration Point and Snake Road, and I mean, it's unbelievable.
Have you been to Snake Road?
Oh my gosh, yes. I tell you what, after a winter and after my surgery, and then our best friends, it's another couple that we explore together, and it's 3 miles. They block off roughly 3 miles of road. So if you don't bring 2 vehicles, you got to.
Oh, I see.
Walk. Yeah, you're walking 6 miles unless you bring 2 vehicles. Tell you what, we got back. All 4 of us had shin splints. The front of our shins swelled up, and we couldn't hardly put our socks on.
So they shut it. The snakes migrate? Is that?
Yeah. And they're just, it's kind of a swampy wetland area and some lakes and this and that. And then there's just a big, long bluff line, limestone bluff line. And they just move back and forth between that wet and that swamp and that lake, back and forth. And when we were there, and there again, it's all luck of the draw. I mean, we didn't hit, I think we've seen some water moccasins, a green ribbon snake, and a few, but we didn't really just get a lot of them. Very next day, other friends of ours seen like 4 rattlesnakes and 5 cottonmouths.
Oh, wow.
And I mean, they just talked nonstop and said there were snakes everywhere. But yes, it's, when they're moving and migrating, it's absolutely fantastic.
Oh, yeah. It's a road, right?
Yeah, it's just a regular Forest Service road.
Yeah, if I can see them from a distance,
Yes.
I'm okay. But I don't want to walk up on one.
Yeah, it's just a gravel road. You can walk right in the middle. But you'll end up walking right on the edges or right in the shoulders. And
Yeah. Did you see me rattlesnakes riding timbers?
maybe. Yeah. And maybe we're just, and and usually we don't really start seeing a lot of them because we ride so much different area. Yeah, we will. We'll see anywhere from some years 2 to 12 or 13 a year. And they're really they're a bigger snake than what people understand. I mean, they're the ones, especially like off of Herod Hitchin Trail, going into Garden of the Gods and that. I mean, we'll see you along there pretty regular. And then 9 Day, I guess 9 Day's the other spot where we can almost predict and see rattlesnakes.
Yeah. We had one, I think it was last summer. This group from Indiana came. And I'm assuming it's an ex-boyfriend now because he wasn't allowed to bring the horses with him. Oh. But he was in front. I guess he'd been drinking all morning. And they were, I don't know where they were riding, but they said they saw like this 4-foot rattlesnake across the road. And they were yelling at him. And he just went right over top of it. And they saw that thing bite the horse.
Oh, my God.
So he went past it. And then the snake wouldn't get out of the road. He was ready to fight.
Oh, yeah.
So they called us as soon as they got service. And I don't keep the antivenom here or the plasma. But they brought it in, and man, they just, like I said, I'm assuming that guy's an ex-boyfriend now.
Yeah.
Because he had to stay at camp. But that horse made it. We just, the regional limb perfusion I told you about, we do that with antibiotics and a little bit of steroids and throw the book at him. And
yeah, Will Jerley's, I don't think there's been a year yet that we haven't seen a rattlesnake yet. We probably see more copperheads than we see, but we're fortunate. We'll ride 4 to 5 days a week. We're fortunate to be able to have so much saddle time.
Is it the copperheads that's supposed to smell like cucumbers?
That's what they tell us. Yes, and that's like we're getting into May. This is another funny. You want one more funny story?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, Brenda, remember when we were dating up at High Knob? Riding on the river to river by the Girl Scout camp. And I mean, this was in May. We're dating. I was riding a colt. I bet I didn't have 6 days riding, saddle and rides on him. I had about 6 days at home riding. Big 2-year-old running bred colt. So we're just leaving first morning, left High Knob Campground, went up the river, up the hill, and just started breaking over by what they call the old Girl Scout camp. As God is my witness, there were snakes in trees. And it was like a black rat snake or whatever, fell right down in my lap.
Oh.
And it just, of course, when it was big enough, it actually had some weight, and it scared me. So I kind of reared and jumped back, and it just kind of wadded up and then just fell as a ball right underneath that coat's feet. That coat just fucking just scattering everybody else. Yeah, her mom and dad and kids. It just, that coach just, he doesn't know what's going on. Well, and that river to river's kind of washed out there. That poor snake, about time he'd start to try and go up the bank, that one of them horses would step on him, he'd roll right back down in the middle. and so right then when she decided that old song, Me More Cowboy Than You, I might make it.
That, wasn't it a John Prine song?
Yeah.
Where the air smelled like snakes?
Yeah.
I think that's is that probably the cucumber reference?
Uh-huh. And that's what we've heard. That I don't know that I've noticed it. Now, the few snakes I've handled and this and that, I always thought they smelled skunky or musty or really foul, almost like a skunk.
Huh. I don't get that close.
Yeah. Oh, I can't help myself.
My wife, Jessica, her stepdad he was the fire chief in Signal Mountain, which is right outside of Chattanooga.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to do a lot of rescues with hikers and climbers and stuff. And evidently they will smell them, especially like if they rappel down a wall or something and they're right there. So I guess there's truth to it.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that a bit. And that's kind of like now we're kind of, generally we start seeing rattlesnakes and we've seen a big, what we call a rat snake, a big black snake. It wasn't a speckle. What day was that, Brenda? Wednesday over at Garden of the Gods. Just a big old common snake. He was huge, just sunning. But usually we start seeing our snakes about time people start seeing turtles on the road.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a temperature seasonal thing, and we'll see them. We'll see all of them up to about the 4th of July. Most of our sightings.
When I was in high school, we were at Glen Jones, and we saw about a 5-foot timber rattlesnake.
Oh yeah, and they're huge.
Yeah, they have
girthy.
Fat. Yeah.
And when you look at them, or if you get to touch them, they almost feel or look velvety, almost hairy.
Yeah.
With the real fine scales on them.
I'm not going to get that close to.
Oh, come on.
Even if they're dead. The only rattlesnake encounter I had was in West Texas.
Oh, they had plenty there, didn't they?
Yeah. So I was at the Sixes doing an externship, and there was one day the horse vet was got to go preg check cows. He's like, "You want to go?" I was like, "Heck yeah!" So we go, and then the day riders were there. Mm-hmm. So there's 10 or 12 guys go out to gather these cows. So a little bit later, we drive to the catch pen, which is just the only place grass is growing.
Exactly.
So I get there, and I'm young and ambitious. I'm going to get the ultrasound out and get everything ready. And he's like, "You might want to just wait in the truck till those cows get in there and stomp on some things." I was like, "Oh, okay."
Oh, yeah.
What they did, and these cows were like, you stick your hand in bread. They're what, you know what I mean?
They were trained. Well, yeah.
So he did a few, and he let me do a few. And I think the first or second one I did, I thought I heard a rattle. Of course, I'm paranoid at this point, because we're still in, all the cowboys got their big boots on. I got my little Ariat shoes but anyways, I heard it, and I was like, I think I heard a rattlesnake. I was like, wow, I didn't hear anything. Next cow come through, they moved it, they heard it. So this guy gets a hot shot and just starts going through the grass, chases it out.
Oh, my gosh.
Stomps on it with one foot, and then smashes his head in with the other one that cuts his rattles off and hands them to me.
Oh, yeah.
And then we went back to work like it was nothing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm paranoid the rest of the day, you know.
Those are the toughest men in the world. You know it?
Yeah, those were the real deal. Boots O'Neill. You heard of him?
Oh, absolutely. Love him. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there. I got to talk quite a bit with him.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, he gave me a can of spicy peanuts.
Yeah, because he just passed away this last year.
Did he? Oh, I thought he was still.
No, he did the episode on Yellowstone and passed away a few weeks later.
Oh.
Him and Billy Clapper both.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Billy passed away. Billy was, I think he was close to 90.
I don't know how old Boots was.
Oh, my gosh. And, you know, there again, Boots' whole life was the Sixes.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything else. You know, kind of like Buster Welsh, you know. Those guys, that was their whole life, you know it?
Yeah,
But no, Boots, he had some stories, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. And then Dr. Blodgett was still alive, who kind of started the whole
breeding.
Yeah, he was
and
awesome.
everything.
He, that was right around, he did some Ford commercials or advertisements in like the West, whatever magazines.
Uh-huh.
So they had just got, this would have been 2012 or 13, I guess. So I fly into Lubbock and I stay the night there, and they're like, we'll pick you up, which is like a 2.5-hour drive. And it is hot. So I walk to the CVS and get some Gold Bond.
Oh, yeah.
Extra strength. So I've doused myself in that, and they pick me up in this truck, and we get right outside of town. I'm like, God, I put too much of that stuff on. I'm uncomfortable over there. And I look over, and there's all these buttons on the dash. And they had air-conditioned seats in that thing. And I had pants full of Gold Bond. I about crawled out of my skin.
Oh, my gosh.
And then they did that, and then there was, which they just sold that ranch, right, to the Yellowstone guy.
Yeah. Yeah, to Sheridan.
Yeah. Yeah, which is good, probably.
Oh, yeah. And, yeah, because those ranches with today's markets they're hard to hold on to.
Yeah. And Mr. Jess Perry was still alive. I got to see him.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, he was in a stall about the size of our clinic. And they had some type of peat moss in there because he had bad feet.
Yeah.
And you'd walk in the stall. I was like, man, I want this in my living room.
Oh, my God.
So I got to see him, and Lindsay Sears, the barrel racer, she passed through at the time. So it was neat.
Well, Dr. Blodgett would always come to Road to the Horse.
Yeah.
And used to just sit on the edge of my seat to hear every word.
Yeah, he didn't say much.
No, didn't say much, but they had a lot of weight.
Yeah, when he spoke to everybody, listened.
Yep.
So they had, where all the horses were and where they put students and stuff was like the cookhouse. They had bunks and everything. But they cooked lunch every day. But you didn't go to lunch until you saw Dr. Blodgett go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you better take your hat off when you walk in there.
Yeah.
And you better not go through the line to get food till every female had.
Oh, yeah. And see, that's like us and getting invited to go gather cattle or go wean and doctor cattle. And, you know, on those ranches, they're still doing it by horseback. There's still the code of the cow boss. See, we've seen one or two kicked off their horse.
Yeah.
Or sent to the truck with their pay. And, you know, that's kind of nice that there still is kind of that respect and that, you know, kind of expectation.
Yeah, it was we're in there collecting horses using state-of-the-art equipment for shipping semen and stuff, but then it was a step back in time with that stuff. It was fun.
I couldn't imagine. And that's like a lot of that's hard to hold on to, you know, that tradition. We've still got friends that still feed with horses in the winter up in South Dakota.
I don't know how those people live up there.
I don't either. I can stand the heat. You know, I was foaled in El Paso, so I know what hell is.
Right.
But you know, those people up there, I just couldn't imagine. And the wind blows every day.
Yeah.
And it's cold.
We had a rough winter. What I would consider rough.
Yeah, the worst we've had in a while.
Can you imagine that for months?
I can't. I'd go nuts. You know it.
I talked to a vet at one of our meetings from Canada, way up there. I was like, how do you do it? He's like, well, I got hot water on the truck. because a lot of those truck boxes, it pipes the water through the cooling system.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like that one dad, the boxes we used to work out
Yeah.
of. So, I mean, we had like hot water everywhere we went when it worked.
Oh, my
But
gosh.
he was like, I just fill up a bucket of hot water, drop everything in there I think I might need so it doesn't freeze. It's like, no, thank you. But, so what are you doing this weekend?
Well, I think we've got a group. We're going to ride out of Lust Creek Trailhead. We're going to ride. I'd kind of like to ride over there to Secret Canyon and have lunch. And then Sunday, what have we got planned? Yeah, we'll ride somewhere. Like I say, anybody wants to go, check the Facebook page. You know.
You have an entertaining Facebook page.
Oh my gosh. And I hope everybody has as much fun as I do.
I don't know if that's possible, but not everybody has a T-Rex suit
Oh my
or
gosh.
American flag Speedos.
Oh my gosh. Hey, I tell you what, went to Cancun. You know, I was one of them Romeos of the Southwestern world. I tell you what, everybody needs to just lighten up. You know it?
It's true.
Hey, I mean, be courteous, be respectful. Don't get so mad and have all that road rage. And, sometimes we don't have to have an opinion about everything.
Or we don't have to hear it.
Yeah, you see what I mean? And it's
Yep.
like, and that's kind of like, I like music. I love every kind of music, and a lot of it really hits a nerve, especially something I hadn't heard in a while. Especially because I'm one of them that does read the lyrics. I try and then especially if I can find a little, what do you want to call, meat to the song or why it was wrote or where it was invented. We were talking about Motley Crue and the song Girls, Girls, Girls. I mean, it's catchy. It was in Fast Times on Ridgemont High. It's been in several movies and all. But when you sit down and hear how they wrote it or where it come from or what it was about, it's like, you guys are animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about actually going to strip joints in all the
Shocking.
different cities. And it's just cool. But yeah, I love music. And the other thing, I love friends smarter than me.
Yeah.
I love rabbit holes. I mean, I've got a beautiful, wonderful, worldly neighbor from Austin, Texas. I mean, she worked at Stephen Austin University, and then she was a hotshot driver in the 80s and 90s when that was, for a woman, was unheard of. She was hauling yacht motors and boat parts from out of Galveston and along the coast in
that
Dallas.
makes sense.
And this and that. I mean, self-made woman. And I mean, and that's like some of the stories from, she worked as a gaffer and as an employee in the theater and arts and drama department. She actually got to party with John Prine
Oh, really?
and Bonnie Raitt
Oh, wow.
and smoked.
You could say it.
Smoked, partied with the Eagles,
Oh, wow.
which to me is just like, I mean, I can't imagine, those people, that legend, and that time in that era. They didn't have all the security. They weren't afraid of everybody.
Yeah.
I don't think we got really scared of people till like the assassination of John Lennon. You see what I mean? That just made us all feel, or those people feel vulnerable then.
Yeah. Yeah, we had Aaron Tippin last year
Mm-hmm.
at our town festival, and they were pretty adamant about security, and I get it,
Uh-huh.
which we had local cops basically, but they had a security meeting, but he still stood out there after he played and took selfies
Oh,
with everybody in line.
we've got to meet him and that's the other thing. We've been blessed to experience probably more than anybody else should have. Aaron Tippin and Chuck Wagon races, Clinton, Arkansas, the granddaddy. If you think you are bad and you want to go for a 4-day party, And I mean, where the toughest people compete, Clinton, Arkansas. And like Aaron Tippin, Sawyer Brown, Mark and them stood out there for probably another hour and a half after the concert. Anybody that wanted to shake hands, get a picture. Aaron Tippin, working man's PhD. He's still putting together bicycles. And
He didn't do that in El Dorado.
He didn't.
No.
He's done that forever. Great guy.
Yeah, he was. This whole crew was awesome. His son plays in the band too.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yeah, his agent represents another guy about the same. I don't know how you'd say it, but the same caliber, same kind of price range,
Yes.
same touring and everything. His agent was like, "I guarantee you, Aaron has made at least $2 million more than that guy because he will stand out there and talk to his fans."
Oh, absolutely. And that's everything, is that those people are approachable.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that is fantastic.
But the shocking thing about a lot of those guys is a lot of them they're not really extroverts. I mean, they'll get up there on stage
Right.
in front of thousands of people, but they don't want to be in a room with one or two people.
Right. That's exactly right. You know, and that's like Joe Diffie. Joe Diffie, fantastic songwriter, good showman and all, but him and Chris Cagle would just kind of go back to their trailers, or they go back to their rooms, and you never really seen them again. Nothing wrong with that.
Right.
They just, I laughed at, like I said, I've had a lot of experiences. I've got to be down and see a lot of entertainers on Beale Street in Memphis. I was down there at the first Memphis in May.
Cool.
Which is, got to see a little white boy that wasn't old enough to go in the bar at the Rum Boogie, named Kenny Wayne Shepherd, sitting outside playing and just shredding. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that music and all the experiences, we got played in Nashville, like along 23rd and all that. But the music's, I don't think the music's changed that much. We still got some great entertainers out there. Some great young, new entertainers.
Yeah.
I love this. Cody Johnson and Riley Green.
Yeah. How about Zach Top? You listen to him?
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And I tell you, just on the fun side, I've got one motto. If it ain't fun, I ain't going to do it. Have you heard Ernest yet? Out in Nashville?
Maybe.
Him and Snoop Dogg.
No,
Oh my
I'll have
gosh.
to look that up.
Look it up. And, we all like Snoop Dogg, don't we?
Yeah, I don't know anybody that doesn't.
Well, look him up. And he just goes by Ernest.
I
That's
think
all
I've
he is.
heard of it, but I'm not familiar.
Oh, my gosh. He's screaming right up through there. And he's got some support, like Ella Langley and some of these. He's just fun.
Yeah. Have you seen Snoop Dogg? I think it was Snoop Dogg and Kevin Hart watching like the dressage in the Olympics.
Oh, my gosh. Yes, and the voiceovers.
Yeah. Oh, I was dying laughing.
Wouldn't that be a party?
Oh, that'd be fun.
And
Snoop Dogg's got kids songs.
yes, and you know what the thing of, his best friend, who his best friend in the world is?
Who's
Martha Stewart.
Oh, yeah.
That is so,
Yeah, like didn't
Wonderful.
they promote the Bic lighters?
yes,
For-
yes.
Martha was lighting candles, Snoop was lighting joints. Oh. And they're both on that wine. Is it 19 Crimes or something where you can download the app and it plays their... Have you seen those?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's funny. But that Zach Top guy, I mean, he's like 90s country. He's a real deal.
Well, and and I think that's where like Brent and I, you've got some really wonderful local radio stations.
Yeah.
We love like 97.7 out of Marion. Yes, I'm one of them guys that calls and makes requests of love and dedication. But they play that 80s, 90s genre, I mean, that really appeals to us.
Yeah. Stephen Wilson Jr., have you listened to him?
No.
Oh, you got to listen to him. Did you see he played for, was it Wisconsin before the draft, did the national anthem or something?
No.
He's got a unique voice. And the only thing I thought about last night when I heard him, because when Chris Stapleton took off, then a bunch of dudes started singing like Chris Stapleton.
Yes.
You'd see him on the Facebook reels and stuff. And then Tyler Childers.
Yeah.
Love him.
Oh, absolutely.
But then everybody and their brother had a microphone in the woods trying to sing like him. Now I'm just waiting for all these younger people to try to sing like this guy, but you'll have to look him up. He's got a neat backstory too. He's like a microbiologist or something. Yeah, and he was getting ready to, and he always played music, of course, but
Yeah.
and he was getting ready to like move up through the thing. I guess his boss came to him. It's like, dude, you got to go play music. Otherwise you're going to drown here.
Yeah.
Like he had a very successful career ahead of him in that, but his boss was like, you got to go see if you can do it.
That is
And
cool.
now in fact, I heard him on Howard Stern the other day. He was bringing him up on XM. He's like, you got to hear this guy.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. So he's about to take off, I think. Plays a nylon string guitar, really good at guitar. I mean, his songwriting's great.
Well, and I think that's where we need to get back to. I mean, because in the 90s, we started progressing to buying songs.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, you had a distinction between songwriters and performers. I mean, you didn't have the Dolly Partons and Willie Nelsons and those guys, the Chris Christophersons that were writing, singing, performing their music. And we're slowly getting back to that.
And that might be one good thing about social media is those guys can put it out there.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have to move to Nashville and try to move up through the ranks.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and that's like some of our really big stars all started out on iTunes, on EPs.
Yeah.
And that never did a performance, a show, a live in their life, which is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. We've had a lot of. I started booking the bands for our festival in 2016, I think.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we've had the people we've had at the crowd likes what the booking people call like legacy acts, like the
Yes.
Tippin, and we've had the Headhunters twice, and those are just the coolest guys.
Oh, yeah,
Confederate
absolutely.
Railroad, those guys were just down to earth.
Yeah. I mean, and your Beatles tribute band.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
I still hear people bragging about it.
They're coming back.
That's awesome.
Are you guys coming?
Absolutely. If we're available, yeah.
It'll be a Thursday night again, the 18th or whatever that Thursday is that week.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming back, and then well, we don't have any contracts signed, but we got some people you'll enjoy.
You're gonna have like a big reveal.
Yeah, we should. Yeah.
Let me announce it.
Evidently, the committee had a meeting last night that I purposely forgot about, but yeah, they all approved, so we'll get a sign.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it'll be another good year. But those guys, most of the ones we've had are just, I mean, they come in, they eat dinner with you, and they'll sit down and talk to you like anything else. And then a lot of them you don't even know. Like the one guy in Railroad was Dr. Hook's guitar player.
You kidding?
And then the singer played for Johnny Paycheck forever. So he did a bunch of old Johnny Paycheck songs. And
Oh my gosh.
yeah, those guys were fun.
Well, that rocks. And you know, and we talk about like Brenda and I's era. A lot of ours, like especially teenage years through our early 20s and 30s, was VFWs and Knights of Columbus. And I mean, it was live music. It was bands. It was cover bands. And we look forward to it.
You know the VFW story in El Dorado, don't you? That's the VFW in El Dorado is the first place George Harrison ever played in America.
No way.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Yeah, his sister had moved to Benton because I may get this story wrong, but her husband had something to do with coal mining. So the Beatles, his band was just starting to play across the pond, as they say, and he came to visit. And this was before Ed Sullivan and everything. But I guess there was a band at the VFW called the Four Vest that Harrison's sister knew or something. And she called one of the guys like, hey, my little brother's in town. He plays. Can you sit in with you guys?
That is cool.
And he did. And the stage is still in there and everything.
That is
And
so
the
cool.
first year we had the Beatles tribute band, the Historical Society put a big plaque out there and everything.
That is so cool.
Yeah, so I wasn't still not a big Beatles fan. I might get crucified for that, but.
And I wasn't either, but believe it or not, a lot of our like school bands and everything, we were doing a lot of those Beatles songs. You know, Band on the Run and I'll think of some more here in a minute. But yeah, we kind of grew up just at the tail end of all that.
Yeah, and I guess I wasn't a fan because I didn't see or hear much of it. I mean, Waylon Jennings is still my guy.
Oh my gosh!
But then and to book the Beatles tribute band, I was like, oh God, there's only one thing worse than the Beatles is people that want to act like them.
Yeah.
And then my mom's a huge Beatles fan, saw them live, and I told her about it. She's like, I've seen the Beatles. I don't know if I want to see this. But she came that night, and they might be one of my favorite bands now, the Liverpool Legends.
I could say they rocked it.
Yeah, and my mom was like, even the little mannerisms, I mean, everything. It's fun. I think this is like the third or fourth year we've had them. I don't think I can't book them again because the crowd just loves them. And they're nice guys, too. They're easy. They travel with a kid who's probably early to mid-20s who runs like everything. Sets up all the stage, runs front of house, and then there's one girl that works for her, and then she's in their ear and she gets the guitars ready.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And then they drive in those little Volkswagen Beetles. It's like the yellow submarines. But they're loving it. Their drummer they had last year that played Ringo, I don't know much about drumming,
right?
But to watch this kid, I was like, wow, that's a drummer.
That's cool.
So, they get these, just top-notch musicians, and they nail it. So I'm actually looking forward to them again. I'm going to try to get Marty, who plays George, to do a podcast too.
Oh my gosh, that'd be great.
Yeah, because he's been to the Grammys with Louise, who is George Harrison's sister. They played the Rose Bowl. They played Carnegie Hall. And,
oh wow.
Yeah, they're the real deal. It's fun. What time is it, John? Okay. Yeah, I got to pick up my kid. We should probably wrap this up.
Okay. Hey, thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for coming, Mike. We'll do it again.
I hope so. We've still got a lot more to explore.
Oh yeah.
Like I was saying, if you ever need any help here at the clinic, you got my number, right?
My name's Michael, and I'm here to help.
My name is Michael, and I'm here to help.
All right. Well, a little bit different this week on the podcast, so stay tuned for the next time. And until then, take care of your horses and yourself. Thanks, Mike.
Veterinary surgeon or start to come quick. Draw the syringe and give it a flick. Bring your little black bag with the medicines in. Bring the trank and the crank and the penicillin.